2 for Jessica. Looking at you in the camera right now, we see a big cable right between you and the camera. Would you mind moving that for us, and then we'll start the event? Perfect. Thank you. Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station. We are ready.
New Space and Solutions Conference. This is Mission Control Houston. Please call Station for a voice check.
Station, this is Dylan Mathis from the New and Space Solutions Conference, coming to you live from Seville, Spain. How do you hear me?
Good morning, Dylan. Good morning, Spain. We hear you loud and clear. How else?
Loud and clear. Thank you. Well, I just wanted to say good morning. It's great to see you guys, not in person, but from afar. And it was so great to see you around the Johnson Space Center, and now my friends are in space. This is just outstanding. So thank you all for taking the time today out of your busy schedules to do all of this.
Absolutely, Dylan. It's always wonderful to hear your voice. I wish we could see you, and we would also want to thank Daniel and Alejandra for all of their help with your questions today. Sounds like some really promising young individuals there with you, so we're excited to see what they accomplish.
Outstanding. Shall we begin?
Great. So we start this live connection with the International Space Station and Seville. The first question goes from Daniel Castro. Please, Daniel, if you can read it from your point, with the mic really clear, please.
My first question will be, what has surprised you the most during your first days living and working about the International Space Station?
Yeah, you know, Daniel, everything is surprising when you launch and you leave Earth for the first time. And so launch was amazing and a very special experience. And then arriving here in space, we met our friends that we had trained with a few months before. Living and working in here, everything is different. So everything is surprising. From eating with a spoon upside down, it works. Sleeping and floating at the same time, it works. And just moving in 3 dimensions, floating and using your arms to go from one place to the other. Everything is surprising, and I really love it. For me, what I loved most, I would say, is the way we would use 3 dimensions. There is although there is a ceiling and a floor for the naming, and all the letters are written in the same order, I would say, in the same line. But then you can work on the ceiling, and then after work on the right side of the Columbus module or another side, and it's the same for all the modules, so it's very interesting.
Thank you. Next, Álvaro Pimentel.
Good morning of Seville. How is your body responding to microgravity during the first days of adaptation in orbit?
A lot of very different things happen to our body when we're exposed to microgravity. And I think for me, my background is actually as a physiologist. And it's so interesting to think about because, of course, on Earth, we have always evolved from the very beginning of humans with gravity. So suddenly you remove this very, very large variable. And one of the main things that happens is we have this upward fluid shift. So all of the fluids in our bodies, like our blood, shift upward in the body. And that makes sense, right? Because on Earth with gravity is pulling that blood down to your feet. So we have this upward shift. You can see that, especially in a lot of new astronauts, our faces are a little bit more full than they are on Earth. And for me, I think it feels like I'm hanging upside down on the jungle gym when I'm out playing, like as a child, because all the blood, in that position rushes to your head. You really feel that in the beginning. Those first few days, you can noticeably sense that sort of fullness, but then your body really adapts to it. Sometimes you get a little bit more congested up here because of the fluid shift and also because our CO2 levels inside the space station are higher. But your body really adapts and gets used to it quite quickly. You even let some of that extra bloody fluid go because the receptors for sensing the amount of fluid in your body are actually located up here. So if you have this upward shift, then your body thinks, oh, I have too much volume, I'm going to get rid of that. And so you do that actually by increasing more urine output and then reestablish this new kind of homeostasis for your body. So to me, as a physiologist, it's really remarkable that we adapt so quickly and we feel so comfortable. Some people undergo a little bit of space motion sickness at the beginning as your neurovestibular system, all of your inner ear components, they kind of get used to things as well. But after a few days, everybody feels pretty good and normal, and it's really amazing to me that we adapt so quickly to this totally new environment.
Quite interesting. Now is the turn for Alejandra, please.
Hi, more and more women are taking part in a space mission. What message would you like to send to girls and young women who can imagine their future in space explorations?
Hi, Alexandra. I would say go for it. Go without hesitating. Just go. If you have doubts, whether it's for you or not, whether you will be enough skilled or not, don't have doubts. Put your doubts aside and just go for it. Go chase your dream if it's your dream. You have some examples of women who already did beautiful careers in the space field, and I promise there is a place for everyone. For everyone's background, for everyone's dreams, and it's a very fun work environment. People are really passionate. This is what strikes me the most when working in the aeronautic and space environment, is that everyone loves their job. And so it's people are communicating their joy of working every day because they're just happy, they're passionate about what they're doing. So whatever your background is, if you're a woman or not, you just go for it. If you want to do it, you'll become passionate about what you're doing. And I'm very excited to see new generations become passionate too. And I'm willing to share and to inspire and to just give this little sparkle of joy for working in this environment.
Quite inspiring. Thank you. Daniel Escacena, your question.
Good morning from Spain. My question was about what experiment are you doing during the mission that could be important for the future of space exploration?
So we are up here doing a lot of different types of experiments that will be very, very important for the future of space exploration and also for life back on Earth. We can tell you a little bit about some of the ones that we've been doing so far this mission. We've been up here about 2 months now. One of the experiments that I have been participating in is called Venus Flow. And this is using the ultrasound that we have on board the space station to look at our blood vessels and to try to understand more about what is happening with our blood flow during the mission. We mentioned already that we have this upward shift of the fluids, and this changes some differences. The microgravity has seemed to change some differences in blood flow in some individuals that can actually cause some problems, leading to things like blood clots. So of course we need to make sure that we understand how and why these things are happening so that we can protect astronauts when they're on board the space station, especially for applications when we're going even further. Now that we're going back to the moon and eventually onto Mars, we'll have very long duration missions. Then these kinds of things are very important to understand. What's happening with our eyes. Astronauts have actually had some changes to their vision and some changes to the structure of their eyes in previous missions, so we're doing research on SANS as well. And another experiment that I'm really excited about that just arrived yesterday, we just had a Cygnus cargo vehicle arrive yesterday, and Jack and Chris, our crewmates, are getting ready to open the hatch right now. And one of those experiments on there is a veggie experiment. On my previous mission up here on the ISS, we grew Mizuna lettuce, and this was awesome because we had something green and alive and growing, and we got to eat a fresh salad at the end. But it was also a very important study for the future of space travel, because on these longer missions, we're going to have to be more sustainable and grow our own food. So by doing these types of experiments, we understand more about how to do that for the future. This experiment in particular is looking at the relationship between plants and microbes called nitrogen-fixing bacteria. And this relationship, this symbiotic relationship, is very important because it actually gives the nitrogen that the plants need to grow that's produced by these bacteria. So we'll be looking at some of those interactions in this experiment.
And I can complement by giving 2 more examples in different fields as well. We also received just yesterday the new E4D machine. It's a machine for testing how to exercise in space for a more confined environment, and it's going to be very useful for future exploration mission if we go again for a moon base or or future exploration mission to Mars. So we're going to be installing this and testing this for the first time in here. It's a European design, and I think all of the teams are very excited, not only the European but also around the world. Another example of a medical study that we do too, another European one, is EcoFinder. It's enabling more autonomous protocols for doing ultrasounds, so échographie in French, ultrasounds. And for those, the scientists used augmented reality as well as artificial intelligence so that non-trained personnel can do an ultrasound with finding the right organ right away, thanks to augmented reality and AI. And so with that, it's going to be very important, very useful for Earth too, because imagine in the places where there are like very few medical centers where people don't have access to medical devices, then imagine in the future people might have this in their homes and be able to just do an ultrasound from home and just a smartphone and just right away catch the right organ and send the pics right away to the doctor and then have a efficient treatment right away. Imagine.
Quite busy. So now Maria Lopez Santis, please, your question.
Good morning. My question is, what means to you to be part of this international cooperation project in the International Space Station, where astronauts and scientifics from different countries works together? And please let me give you congratulations for being there. I suppose it's a very big success in your life, so congratulations.
Thank you very much. These words are touching me very much, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know, being part of a big adventure is already amazing. Being part of a big adventure that unites countries and scientists from all over the world, it has a really special taste for us. Basically, you combine the efforts and talents and skills and intelligence of all people from around the world, and these people gather together, work together, and find solutions, find technological solutions, and just make discoveries together. It's very uniting. It's very fulfilling, and it gives us a sense of humanity. And like, even if we live we're raised in different countries, in different environments, in different backgrounds, we're all working together, and it gives us a sense of purpose as, you know, humanity on Earth. It's fantastic. It gives me the goosebumps just talking about this.
So now is the turn for José Javier Alonso, please.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to greet you from Seville. My question is the following. NASA is preparing to send astronauts back to the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. How does the work you are doing on the International Space Station help prepare for those future missions? Thank you very much.
Well, we are so excited that we have already begun the Artemis era, and we were up here. You know, our friends and colleagues just returned from the moon from the first mission, the Artemis 2 mission, that sent astronauts even further than people had ever ventured before, further on the other side of the moon. So we're really excited about the next steps, where we'll do some future missions and eventually be landing there. And everything that we do at NASA is incremental. So we are building upon everything that we learned from our previous missions. Now here on the International Space Station, we have had a continuous human presence for almost 26 years. We've been doing experiments, we've been testing pieces of hardware, and all of those things are bringing us lessons that we have learned on how to take care of the astronauts, how to make sure they're healthy, which types of hardware will work in space and which ones won't. And so this low Earth orbit, where the International Space Station is, has really provided this proving ground, teaching us all of the lessons and demonstrating what we can do when we go to that next leap of going back to the moon. Some direct examples. Here on the International Space Station, we've actually tested radiation sensing equipment, we've tested CO2 removal systems, and we've tested heat exchangers that were directly being used on the Orion missions. So those are things that we understood, learned more about, and tested up here to make sure that they would be ready for the more challenging and distant environment of these lunar missions. And those are things that have carried over from the very beginning of our time here in space, building upon the successes and lessons that we learned from the previous missions.
Great. So, Dylan, we have 3 minutes left. Everyone has at least asked one question. I don't know if we have some extra time for 2 questions, or you want to ask?
Why don't you do one, and then I will do the final question.
Okay. So, please, Álvaro, if you ask this extra question really quickly.
From your perspective, seeing Earth from space, what message of consideration would you like to send to those of us living on our planet?
So, seeing the Earth from above is very inspiring. It's mind-blowing. It gives us the feeling of unity with all humanity. It feels weird, but you know, we launched far away from Earth, but now it feels like we are closer to Earth. Earth is beautiful. Earth seems, you know, a beautiful, a perfect sphere in the vastness of space, which is really dark. Everything is dark around, but Earth is beautiful. The atmosphere is beautiful, and we just want to share this message with people on Earth, like, take care both of our shared home, humanity's shared home, Earth, and as well take care of yourselves, because everything, the whole Earth with people on it, it's beautiful.
Great message.
Thank you, Sophie. Thank you, Sophie. That was beautiful. Another question or two. We've got just about 90 seconds left. This past week, you all got to do something quite historic and talk to 2 different ships in space, one going to the moon and one orbiting the Earth. Tell me what that was like for you.
Dylan, that was incredibly special. As you know, 2 of my classmates, like brothers and sisters, are on board, as well as 2 of my uncles from the class before me. All of us know them quite well, and it was extraordinarily special and unique, and actually even surprising to me how emotional I was. We actually had a view of them in the capsule that we didn't realize we would have until about a couple minutes before the event. And when I saw those 4 individuals, our friends and colleagues, I was so emotional I could barely speak. And usually I'm not at a loss for words. It was incredibly touching to think that we had this connection of all of us in space at the same time, and it meant so much to see that our next steps, going back to the moon, it's finally happening. You know, we've been talking about it for so long, and now it is reality. So seeing them return after the incredible images and scientific observations that they were sending back, it was very, very profound, and I think it is a moment that we will all remember for a very, very long time.
Outstanding. Thank you, Jessica. What I'd like to do now here as we close out, first of all, Thank you both so much for your time today out of your busy schedules. Sophie, Jessica, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Another thing I'd like to do is give a few shout outs to the people at JSC that are working so hard to help make this happen. Our folks in public affairs that got up real early to do this. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. And I'd also like to give a shout out to the flight directors that I just saw on the screen a moment ago. I saw Pooja. All right, I'd like to give a shout out to Pooja Jasrani and to Diana Trujillo that I just saw in console, and all the folks in the ISS Spicker. Thank you all so much. Jessica, Sophie, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Danielle and Alejandra, for helping out. Thank you to all the teams on the ground. We appreciate you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you to all participants.
Thank you, Houston. Thank you.
We are now resuming operational audio communications.